The history of the patient journey board that we developed initially at Prince Charles Hospital was we looked at some practices in other centres in Australia. Some of those centres included the Flinders Medical Centre, where they had a manual whiteboard where they were collecting information around patients and the involvement of the healthcare team to assist there and facilitate their discharge.
The patient journey board is a communication tool. It doesn't actually solve all of the problems on how to deal with a patient, but what it does is it enables the team to stimulate their conversation, to have an understanding of what every team member is doing with regards to the patient, and to know where we're up to in the management of a patient in their journey.
So what we found is it's a way of centrally containing the information we have on each patient, but equally that because there's many members of the healthcare team contributing to it, it improves the accuracy and the checking process that occurs because you've got many clinicians viewing it, updating and correcting.
The electronic journey board has saved so much time. The other therapist in the other ward can see whether the patient's treatment has been commenced, whether it's in progress, and the green flag means they don't actually need to see the patient. When I see a patient, I update the mobility status, and I also write in any social history, so it's all there. The other reason that it's assisted with handover is in the mornings, the ward can be extremely busy and you can't actually get to patient charts. So if they can just look at the journey board and see all the patient history and where the allied health referrals are up to, they don't need to go and see the chart, it's all there. It's live, it's accurate, it's current, and they can go and see the patient. So sometimes we don't even do a phone handover anymore, it's just all through the patient electronic journey board.
The electronic patient journey board can be updated in remotely from any computer or any PC around the hospital. Therefore, if we're given information at any point throughout the day by a phone call, corridor conversation, case conferencing, the information for each patient can be updated anywhere around the hospital to ensure that each patient's status is live and accurate at that time. So you can be assured that each time you open the electronic patient journey board or each specific ward or each patient-specific screen, that the information that is there is current as at what everyone is aware of. And that then also feeds into the ability to update the information if you get it. So if I'm the OT clinically working on a ward and I get a phone call about a different patient on a different ward, I can then go into that patient screen and update it too, so that again each information isn't dependent on being physically located with the patient. It can be done remotely away from the patient.
We use the patient journey board for clinical handover, and we also look at the way that we're distributing the caseload across all clinicians to ensure that it's equitable and that it's appropriate for the day in question.
We were really pleased to hear the electronic journey board project was up and running, because we could see how it was going to help with implementing one of the key modules or foundation modules in the Productive Ward program. The Productive Ward Patient Status at a Glance module really helps clinical teams review how they work with information, how they share that information, and is it accurate, is it visible, is it timely, and it really helps clinical teams work out how to share that information between each other. What was really interesting about implementing the patient status at a glance module in some sites was that they didn't have really clear processes around sharing that information. It had kind of evolved over time, and in some cases they didn't have a visual management board. They used sheets of paper and they just communicated that way. When they were using the module, they were starting to look at how can you display information more visibly. And the electronic journey board was really helpful in determining how they might be able to do that.
The enhancement of the electronic patient journey board has meant that the information that is entered right at the front door and continues and tracks their information from a nursing, from their alerts, from their allergies, from their allied health. Any information that's entered into the electronic patient journey board that's valuable to that patient's experience is then transferred with the patient as they move from the acute to the subacute unit. What this has meant is that there's a lot of reduced duplication in the assessment and the intervention of patients, better handover between clinicians who are transferring the care from one unit to another, but also better discharge planning to ensure that anything that was commenced at their first step point in the hospital is then continued and not restarted during their journey. So the electronic patient journey board has contributed to faster and more effective patient flow.
we have found across a 24-hour period 30 to 40 minutes of time saving in a 24-hour period for nursing handover. Equal to that, we've found time savings with multidisciplinary team meetings. This is where healthcare teams meet once or twice a day as a healthcare team, where medical, allied health and nursing come together to talk about each patient in detail and make plans of care, including their expected date of discharge and their criteria for discharge. So what we've found is across nursing handover, which is 3 shifts a day, we saved 30 to 40 minutes. But importantly, what we did is we improved the quality of multidisciplinary team meetings by capturing information on patients electronically that allowed everyone to contribute to.
There is a movement in Queensland and in New South Wales that I'm aware of towards criteria-led discharge. Criteria-led discharge means different things to different people, but essentially what it means is enabling people to know when a patient is going home and to know what criteria is required in order to discharge that patient. Really, that's all about communication. And what this does, what the Journey Board does, is enable that communication so that we can have criteria-led discharge, so that any member of the team can decide that the patient has achieved the criteria and can go home. This enables patients to go home earlier and at the right time.
It will allow I believe, a better conversation between clinicians and the patient. So there can be a conversation around what can be presented on an iPad or tablet to the patient and say, these are the clinicians that are involved in your treatment and this is where it's up to. So there's a better understanding as to what's happening in relation to their journey. And I believe it'll also provide greater degree of data collection or data analysis down the track, and the fact that all of the activities are time-stamped, and so whatever analysis you want to do in relation to patient flow down the track should be have a greater capability.
There are 2 or 3 major aspects emerged as a result of these interviews. Number 1, can we actually enhance the communication aspect between the teams and beyond the teams, which was quite crucial for patient care. And what we noticed as a result of implementing this particular technology was that we could actually meet that particular objective. The second one was, can we actually save time, and whether the saved time can be efficiently used in the ward. And every one of the interviews after the implementation of the patient journey board very clearly indicated that we can save anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes per shift per nursing team or ward team in terms of what we call the handover.
For the future, there are so many more opportunities that have since been identified, because by doing a plan, do, study, act cycle, we continuously look at what's current, what we would like to achieve, is that doable, and then what we need to do to ensure that those things happen.
I don't think the Journey Board would stay the same for any great length of time. It's constantly changing and constantly being updated as it is needed to change the way we communicate, and particularly in relation to the way the flow processes happen within the hospital. There have been multiple amazing changes to the Journey Board. So for example, we've attached a button called the DCPC button. This enables the diagnostic criteria for the patient to be uploaded onto the Journey Board, and for that diagnostic information to then be downloaded into the discharge summary for the patient. This is an amazing step forward which enables even better communication around the diagnostic categories and improves the discharge summary, and once again improves the flow because it enables that information to be moved through one process without having to be rewritten on multiple occasions.
People are quite enthusiastic, and we believe after 2 years the system is very successfully running. Every stakeholder involved in the use of the system is very, very happy.